Okay, it's actually a reshoot of a video. It's about masks that we wear, not the COVID type of masks. The mask that we have to wear in front of our patients, emotional, our personas, uh, how we have to lie to our patients. It's mm, it's it's briefly touched on in nursing school. Probably like one of the last topics you'll cover. Usually is what I've seen and heard various other schools do. It's about end of life stuff, really, is where it's touched upon. But it's not only in that application. Um, I'll give you an example. You got one patient who's terminal, dying, you know, could be young, could be old, doesn't matter. But they know they're ended, but they're fighting every tooth and nail. Treat that patient. You give them the meds. Try to counsel them, show compassionate care. Next patient, right next door, or even in the same room sometimes. Depending if you have semi-privates, playing their PlayStation, laughing on the phone, totally scarfing down whatever meal they ordered in, whereas the other person's NPO maybe. And they say their pain is 10 out of 10, and they want they're lauded, their morphine. They don't really present as such, but it is what they say. The pain level is what they say it is. It's 10 out of 10. You give it to them, and you have to show the same face to both patients. You have to show a professional, compassionate, caring face because you're their nurse. You have to do that. You have to put on this mask to show them. And that's why a lot of times you'll hear about nursing humor or medical humor or healthcare humor, or whatever. You do it to compensate, if you want to say. There was I think it was Scrubs. I get shorts from YouTube also, and I don't I maybe because of the nature of my channel or whatever, from House and Scrubs. I've never seen either one, but I think it's good. I mean, I've just never gotten around to seeing the episodes, but I do think it's funny. One short was about a doctor describing another doctor what they're doing. They're describing the end of life of a patient to their family, and showing compassion, care, and grieving. And then the doctor relating this is saying now Dr. Wen or whatever is going to go to his next patient and continue working. The rest of those people in there aren't going to, because they're going to grieve their loved ones, and it's traumatic. The doctor or nurse can't show that, beyond that room. They have to go to the next room where they've just given birth, or they're dealing with a broken arm, or drug addiction, whatever, whatever the next patient is, put on the face and continue on. It's not that he doesn't care for either patient. It's not that he or she doesn't care. It's what you have to do to cope. Maybe, that's probably a better word. And this is what we do. You have to put on this face. You have to lie. You might not like it. It might be against your morals, your principles, your ethics. Screw you. You have to provide that care. You have a problem with it, quit. Don't become a nurse. You have to provide care to the patient. It's kind of like, the attorneys, that's, the public defense attorneys defending some scumbag have to do it. Everyone's presumed innocent until proven guilty, right? They are allowed that, that defense, right? We have to provide that care, whether or not we believe they deserve it or not. I had one of my daughters was very sick, maybe 10 years ago, before I was a nurse, years before I was a nurse. knew nothing about the healthcare system, nothing, didn't know a syringe from a IV flush. Really, they had no idea the difference. She was in there for some febrile seizures, and the peds nurse was like, "Oh, don't worry, it's going to be okay, And when you have your next kid, you'll know what to do." And my partner and I looked at her. We're like, because we looked young. It's 10 years ago, so I was probably 42-ish, and easily passed for late 20s. Nobody thought I was even near 30, and her too. She looked young too. She's only a couple years younger than me. And we looked at her, we're like, this is our last kid. And she's like, oh, why? You guys are so young. We're like, this is our 6th kid together. Even the couple next to us was like, wow, because we didn't share too much, but we chatted. And they were like, wow, And the nurse, her jaw really literally dropped. She's like, what? And I was like, yeah, my oldest it was, I think, 21 at the time. And I was like, yeah, we've got this, and we literally rattled them off. And I said, this is our baby. So yeah, we've gone through all these kids, and this one stumped us. We're worried. I brought kids to the hospital, but not for overnight stay. This was like our 2nd or 3rd night at this time. Nurse says, oh, okay, turns around, runs out, basically, comes back in within minutes, says, it's so much stress for you guys. You guys have so many kids. Let's get you into, we got a room available. We're going to upgrade you. Her words, upgrade. I didn't know any better. I'm like, oh, it's like an airline. Hey, I got an upgrade. I was like, oh, shit. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I don't mind. Hey, sorry. We lucked out, kind of thing. And having them, we were in the next room within minutes, probably 15 minutes. I mean, we were gathering them. So she was just grabbing our stuff and going. I was like, wow. As we go into our private room now, they close the door. And they're like, oh, we're just going to keep it quiet for you. So you're not too busy, from the outside in the hallway. Whereas before, they always kept the door open. Always. When, in that semi-private room. Always open. Now all of a sudden, they close it. And it wasn't until I saw the door close, it clicked in my head. I looked at my partner, and I was like, they isolated us. And she's enjoying the room. She's like, what are you talking about? This is great. This is awesome. I was like, they isolated us. The door's closed. She's like, what? Did they want it to be quiet? I said, it's never closed. I was like, what the hell? And I realized it was like a negative pressure room where I saw the babies in one of those cage bassinets with leads up the wazoo. And all of a sudden, I see them talking at the nurse's station, and they're pointing at us and whatever. And it clicked on me. They realized we weren't just crazy helicopter parents. We knew what the hell we were doing. We've raised many kids. This is our 6th. I was raising kids when these guys were still in kindergarten. Literally, the nurse was probably like in her mid-20s or something like that. I was like, dude, you were in your kindergarten. I was having kids. I was like, you've been through this. So they realized something might be up. So they put us in negative air contact, airborne contact and all that. I didn't know any of that then. Nothing. But the point is, she lied through her teeth. She lied right to our face. Had no problem with it. Did it like that. And I do it. I do it to my patients. Why? To calm them. Show them compassionate care. Because, I've had many instances where the power of attorney or whatever said, I don't want my mother knowing she's dying. I don't want my wife to know she's dying. I don't want my brother to know he's dying. Well, they're the power of attorney. I mean, that what they say goes, and usually, oftentimes the patient's completely out of it anyway. So, orientating them, saying, oh yeah, you're here in this hospital. Yeah, you're about to die. That doesn't help. That's not very, therapeutic. I'm already there just providing therapeutic touch sometimes. Sometimes that patients just hold on to me. Just to ground themselves, and I'm standing there for minutes, for fairly long, and in the middle of med pass, I'm just not doing anything, just holding their hands, and I've had people say, "You need us to get you out of there right now." Just holding their hands, spending some minutes so they can ground themselves and realize they're not alone, or hopefully, give them some peace and solace. That is a lot of what we do. That is what nursing's about. And sometimes you have to lie. It sucks. You have to put on this persona, this face. Yeah, as Billy Joel says, mask of a stranger. You have to put it on to help them through. Because as I was going back to what you're taught, when you're taught this, it's toward the end of your nursing school career, because they've taught you how to heal them, bring them into the life. You got peds and OBGY. You how to care for them, clean them, feed them, medicate them, heal them, discharge them. One of the last topics they teach you is helping them to die. Not assisted suicide, but just helping them in their journey. Showing compassionate care. And that's pretty important, whether it's to the family or to the patient themselves. And I'm using the extreme of end of life again. It doesn't have to be. It could just be a question of just medication or something like that. But you put this persona on to help them, whether it's end of life care, helping them through that journey, that final journey, helping the family deal with, it's like, oh yeah, they're not going to walk again. They're not going to be the same level of cognition anymore. They're like a child now. I'm sorry. That's, traumatic brain injuries and whatnot. They lost their eyesight or something. Stuff that's not going to get better. And you have to have them reconcile that and help them in that journey. It's not easy. It's briefly touched on in nursing school. So again, I like, not that I like touching on taboo subjects or touchy subjects, but I do think you deserve to know everything you guys are getting into. I don't say this, I don't bring this topic up to scare anyone off, because you would have to deal with it with your loved ones personally anyway. And I think it would help you if you had some professional training. So, and help friends. We're all getting older. We're going to have loved ones come to the end of their journey. Why not? It's just helping you in your personal life too. But these are topics, that I do like shining a light on it, because, everybody says, oh, it's like Florence Nightingale. Yeah, well, Florence Nightingale dealt with a lot of death too. Before she, whatever, it's like nobody was washing their hands, for God's sakes, blah, 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 so there's a lot of ugly side to nursing. And not so, I don't know if it's the ugly side of nursing for this topic, but it is a very sad side of nursing. And it's something you will definitely, guarantee you will come across if you spend any time at bedside. Hopefully you don't see it in any other circumstance, like camp nurse or school nurse or at infusion centers or anything like that. Hopefully it's only at bedside. Hopefully it's predominantly at hospice or oncology. You're going to see it. You might see it in cardiac, So it's something that you will see in nursing. I don't like it how it's kind of glossed over, and that's why I'm making this video. All right. Good luck. Take care.